Wasn't last night a thrill ride? Nashville Superspeedway never disappoints, and we saw a come-from-behind victory from DJ Kurtis yesterday to notch up his first win of the season, and now we do it all over again with the same 42 drivers, another 75 laps here today. This is race number 5 of the 1UP Turbo Truck Series season for 2025, and alongside me to bring you all the action once again is Ryan Griffin, once again. So, with that being said, we all know what Nashville's like. We saw it in full force yesterday. The question becomes, can the guys who ran well today or yesterday, can they claw their way back to the front and finish well again today?
We saw a lot of guys yesterday that not necessarily like the race winner Kurtis, who were back in the pack because of some strategy play or something that didn't work out, and yet by the end of the race had charged their way to the front. We saw the 08, who was a lap down earlier in this race, Blaine Saylor, early in the race yesterday that came back to the front by the end of it. We saw obviously Kurtis, who had tried a different tire strategy, fought his way back and win. You can battle from the back and win this race. We've seen it happen. What's going to be interesting is seeing the flip side of that. The guys that were in the kind of mid-pack, back in the pack yesterday, well, now they're up front now. What are we going to see out of them? We saw a great race yesterday up front. Will we see it again today? And it's going to be even more fun watching these guys from the back come through the back. So I'm ready for this. Let's go. If I had my driving suit on me, I'd jump in there too and jump in the mix with these guys.
Well, this is going to be a great day for the fans who came to see this, the drivers who came to participate. Everybody's got a great view of this one at Nashville. As we can now bring you the starting lineup, which was set by an inversion. The top 37 finishers from yesterday get inverted, which means in his second career start, a first career pole position for Steven Myers in the Raving Sunset Automotive Group number 54. And the best news for him, he's got his teammate right behind him. Shane Allen in the 46 lines up in third. Alongside Myers on the front row, we have Chris Martens in the 18. He pulled a interesting strategy yesterday to varying degrees of success. Alex Sanvital, we didn't talk about him at all yesterday. I'm curious to see what he's capable of and what he's able to do now that he's starting up front. And Justin Whitmer, after some damage in the first race, rounds out the top 5. There's a lot of guys up here we haven't talked about yesterday, and I'm curious to see if any of them can pull any sort of success like we saw the guys yesterday do.
We'll just have to see. I mean, again, so much fun yesterday. I can't wait to see what this holds today. And again, can we see the guys who are normally the cream of the crop rise to the crop again? This is the challenge. Let's see who manages the challenge best.
It's going to be a challenge for sure, but it's going to be a welcome one, and I, for one, am thrilled to get this underway. So, with that being said, bit of a shorter pre-race today, which makes up for a bit of a longer one yesterday. We're looking forward to getting this race underway, so I say we just get straight to it. This is the 1UP Turbo Truck Series from Nashville, Part 2, and we're going to get that green flag for you in just a few moments, so stay tuned for that. It is going to be a thrill just like yesterday. Can the rookie pole sitter make anything happen? We've got a whole top 3 of rookies to start this race. Steven Myers, Chris Martens on the front row. Heading into the restart zone. We're already into the green, and the green flag is getting us underway. Myers gets a brilliant start from pole position. He is leading the field into turn 1. I don't know if he expected this when we started the weekend, but he's got to be thrilled to death, especially now that his teammate has cleared for second.
I think the cool thing here is we're going to get to mention guys we don't normally get to mention here.
Oh, yeah.
As we said, we mentioned Martin, we mentioned Myers, but how about the 46 of Shane Allen? I mean, this is the team truck, and look at how well this is an opportunity for him as well to run good here. Whitmer we're used to talking about, and obviously the 61 there, the team that Dwayne Sanders has driven for that truck a couple of times. We've mentioned that team a couple of times, but man, there's the 46 and the 54 up here. We'll have to see how long they can stay up here because I like giving these guys some the TV time, you know?
Yeah, I noticed though that Chris Martens has not had the start that he wanted. He started second, has already fallen outside the top 10. Not the start that the 18 was looking for, but it is still the RSAG teammates. Linus Stern out front. Nikki Martinez has got to be thrilled to death watching her two trucks race for the lead, but how long will it last? Because here comes the rookie making his second start in the truck series. Brian Williams in that 61 gets underneath Allen, makes the move for second.
Hopefully Williams is trying to one up the superstar driver that's been in that truck and get that truck a better result in the races that he runs, and we'll have to see because he's going to try to gun for the lead here as they come to complete the third lap.
Yeah, Williams has got it. Williams leads. We've had two leaders today, and they've both been drivers in their debut weekend. That is what we want to see. But here comes the 51. Jojen Stoyan, he started 5th yesterday, started 10th today. So he's had some good starting spots, and now he's up into the second position.
We'll see if he can maintain that track position. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. That's why he started 10th today, but we'll see what he can do now that he's got more of an opportunity to be in that clean air. He wants the lead now as they head for turn 1.
Yeah, look at that blue and white truck down on the inside. That is another driver in his one-up debut weekend. Maverick McAlton in the 15. .1 Racing Team picked him up for the standalone races this year, and he is giving that team a great performance. And he didn't even start that great today. He started down in 13th. He's already up into the 4th position after just 5 laps.
Hey, the one truck that we talked about yesterday, and I see him here running right now, I believe in the, wait for it to update, in the 7th position, that 2 truck.
Yeah.
Is already picking up where he picked up yesterday,
and
trying to be a factor. And I'm sure you're going to mention him too, Spencer Messi, the 3 truck.
Yeah, Santi Messi, that 3 truck, he started 25th. It's only taken him 6 laps to jump up to the top 10. That 3 is going to be a real contender today, and I guarantee you of that. But it's Stoyan right now that leads from Williams, although I expect that order to flip around in the next few corners. We checked in on the back end of the field. A bit of a surprise there to see Francois Chastain, who did so well in the opening race. He's now running plumb last on the field.
Again, we saw this yesterday kind of with that one team where there was a period of the race, because I mentioned him when we were talking about Kurtis and this tire strategy play, where he was running mid-pack. It didn't seem like they were doing all that hot, yet by the end of the race, look where they finished. So I'm not too concerned about the one truck yet. It's still early. We're still only 7 laps into this race.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned either, considering that his 2 teammates are running 2nd and 3rd right now. They're battling for 2nd. Samantha Jade in the 25, Justin Whitmer in the 91. These are the 2 teammates to Francois Chastain. While he is stuck at the back, the other 2 are picking up the slack for New England Cruisers Racing. They now run 2nd and 3rd, although Stoyan's going to try and get past Jade for that 3rd place.
And Whitmore kind of wants to put yesterday behind him. He was caught up in an incident yesterday, got some damage, and that's what kind of relegated him to finish where he did. Now he's trying to see if he can take advantage of the fact that he started up front today and try to have a cleaner, better run today than yesterday.
And he's already having a better run than he did yesterday because he's leading the race. So Whitmer takes the lead at lap number 9. Bedard making a strong move up into the top 5, up to 4th place. And I'm very impressed by Shane Allen in this 46. The last time we saw him in a truck race, he was at Richmond, and he did not have a really good day. He was off the lead, lapped down in the high 30s, but he's proving he's a very good driver, and he's showing it here. As look at this Hornet's Nest at the very back of the field, leading that train, DJ Kurtis, the winner from yesterday.
Yeah, and again, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the challenge of these guys that were so good yesterday.
Yep.
Can they come through the field? Can they work their way throughout the day to get back up the challenge like they did yesterday? And Kurtis, obviously the winner, being the winner yesterday, had to start the deepest in the field today. So
and
we'll see what he can do by the end of the race.
And one thing I was very concerned about at the back end of the field, Chris Martin started 2nd in this race. He has already fallen to 38th position. Alexandre Vital started 4th. He's already last.
And again, I think that's what we've seen as far as the high line. If your truck's not handling well, as bad as the high line has been for trucks, I think you get stuck on that high lane and your truck sinks like a rock. Now, we have seen some guys able to manage the high line and be able to hang on. Hell, we almost saw that the 10 truck win the race yesterday using that high lane. So
Yeah.
you can manage it if you've got the truck that's handling for it. But if your truck's not handling all that great, you're going to drop to the back like a rock. And I just seen a couple of trucks in shot. I seen the 02 kind of working his way through the field. And there was another one, too, that I saw kind of working their way. I think it was the 66 I saw. So I'm sure our contenders will be in the mix here before too long.
But for now, it's Stoyan that continues to lead. I think this is the most laps he's ever led in a one-up race. So good run for the 51. And it has to be mentioned as well, the team, Fitzwater Australia Racing, they withdrew their 81 truck from this weekend after losing their main driver. They're trying to find another one. But I honestly think they're doing much better with one truck than they ever did with two.
And that's the big debate among teams. You know, how many trucks do you run? And I honestly think when a team runs more than one truck, they kind of hurt themselves as far as spreading the resources. Sometimes the best thing to do as a team, maybe it sucks for the employees or the other entry, but sometimes downsizing and maybe running one truck can make you put the focus on that one truck and put all your effort into that one truck so we can see results like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, so far, even though Stoyan's lost a bunch of spots, he's now fallen to the tail end of the top 10. Still a very strong run. This is the best run we've seen out of the 51 since Daytona when he finished on the podium. So it's still early. There's still a lot of racing to go, but that 51 is already demonstrating the power of managing your resources well. As meanwhile, Samantha Jade has taken over the lead of this race, and look who's Jade has brought with her. Ludovic Charette in the 31. We didn't talk about the 31 all day yesterday. They are now up to second, and you said it, didn't you? There's that 66 back in the mix again.
The 66 and a couple trucks behind him is the 02. I mean, we kind of got a little break from it yesterday, the battle between the two of them, but here they are again, fighting their way to the front, and the cream rises to the front. I noticed there's another truck, two trucks behind the 02, I believe the 13. Or no, excuse me, that's the 0 back there, not the 13.
They are painted similarly, so I get the confusion. As Charette dives down the inside of Samantha Jade to take the lead. Crossroads Racing had a very strong program yesterday with Rhodes Gray, and now Ludovic Charette has picked up the baton, and now the 31 leads.
And again, the 31 was also, they had a little bit of an issue late at Atlanta, but they were a player also at Atlanta as well. So they just need to get some track position, I think, today to really prove that they're strong, and, well, they're showing it right now.
Yeah, Crossroads Racing has a very strong lineup, it has to be said. Charette back for a second season. Rhodes Gray, after dipping his toes in all three series last year, is focusing on the trucks full time. And of course, that 11, who's been really strong in yesterday's race. So Crossroads has got the right stuff going for them. They just need a good finish to match that. And right now, Ludovic Charette is leading this race by quite a good margin over the rest of the field as Carter starts to back up that outside lane.
I'm starting to see them. There's the 66. We mentioned the 66 and 02. But the 83 of Anzac is in this. The 99.
The 10's back there, too.
The 10 as well. They're starting to come back through. Like we said, this is what was going to make this race fun, was to watch these guys come through the field and try to work their way back up front like they were yesterday. So it's definitely been a blast to watch this and see these names mix in with some guys we don't normally talk about. So it's kind of neat to see the mix in this race.
And speaking of teams doing well, how about Lightning Supersport? Both their trucks are now side by side for the final spot in the top 10. Carter in the 4 on the outside. Fogelman, who we didn't talk about much yesterday, on the inside, and he's now making a move stick, although I think Rhodes Gray is going to stick his nose under the 0 within the next lap or so to try and get that position. But this team, the team owner, Cale Tesco Jr., was talking about how they needed to improve. I would say they're doing that this weekend.
Yeah, you take little steps at a time. Sometimes it takes, you don't necessarily need to set the world on fire and go try to win a race. Sometimes you need a top 10. Sometimes you need a top 15. Just a run to kind of start building momentum. And we've seen some decent run, at least this weekend, out of that 0 team. So,
and the 4 as well.
So it just a little bit at a time. Baby steps, as they say. As Jade is going to try to see if she could take the lead here from the 31.
And looking at the tail end of this top 5, the 3 is back there. The 66 is back there. The 83 is back there. The 99. These guys were all doing fantastically yesterday, and they've already found their way back to the front. The 66, for example, started back in 24th. The 3 in 25th. The 83 in 31st. They've all found their way to the front. This is what we love about Nashville. You can come from the back to win here, and that is why we have our doubleheader here.
And I was mistaken about Nashville. My assumptions about this track kind of were not exactly as yesterday proved. You know, you can come from the back here. And
yeah, it's what it says on paper. It's what it says on paper, but paper only tells you so much. As Charette now ducks down the inside, checks up a little bit in the corner, Jade's going to keep the position, and that's going to open the door for perhaps Messi and Villalobos to try and make a move on the 31.
And now I see why the fans packed this place, because they packed the place here and for these events, and the fans absolutely love watching the trucks here. And man, they definitely put on a show yesterday, and we'll see if we get another show like it today. We see the comers and goers again. There's those 3 we talked about: the 66, the 83, the 99, all in here. And the 10 about to join that group solidly here.
Yeah, and the 99's been a very pleasant surprise, because like I said yesterday, that driver, he will tell you himself, he is not the best on oval tracks. That is what he wants to improve on this season. That's why he went for a full truck season. He ran part-time last year in the Nitro National Series, was doing great on the road courses, but he wanted to improve on the oval tracks. And look at him go! He's going 3 wide down the inside for second, and he might even try and go for the lead on the 31.
If he's looking for an improvement, the run he had yesterday and the fact that he's trying to take the lead today.
Oh, they get hooked! What a save from Charette to maintain control of that truck and to maintain the lead. That is incredible. That is probably the save of the weekend right there.
Yeah, he saved it. And also, granted, he was the one that got into it, but the 99 props also backed out of it almost kind of immediately as he could to give him the room to save it. And
yeah, that opens the door.
Hang on, and they stayed 1-2 there for the sec as Whitmore now looks inside the 99 to take over that second spot.
Oh, we got trouble on the back straightaway. Looks like the engine has let go on the Heatwave Automotive 26 for Brian Grigsby, and that is not what we want to see. He was doing so well yesterday. He started this race in 16th, was trying to make his way back to the front again, but that's his first DNF of the season, and that's the team's first DNF of the season. Not what they needed to try and get up to the top 30 in owners' points. Yeah, but
it's unfortunate because their finish today is not going to show where they've run this weekend, and they got to hold their heads high the way they came in and run so far this weekend.
Yeah, because and even back to Atlanta, they ran the fastest lap of the race at Atlanta and had a good run there too. So this is not going to do them justice. They're going to be back at Hillside ready to go again, but like I said, they needed to gain points, and this is not going to get them points.
If anything, that's going to add to the motivation. They know what they had today and how well they ran today. That's motivation for them to, okay, we're going to bring our best stuff next week and put our best foot forward and keep going forward. So
yeah,
it sucks that you lose the points, but you got to keep putting your best foot forward. That's how you get better week in, week out to where you limit these.
Contact there between the 99 and the 61. That's going to slow him down a tiny bit. But I was about to say, surprisingly, that is our first DNF of the weekend so far, and it wasn't even for a crash. So that's impressive, at least, that we were able to keep it clean up to this point. And we're already a third of the way through this race, caution-free. Ludovic Charette has been in control for a decent while now.
Yeah, again, got to go back to that save on the front straightaway. They're coming out of 4, and the fact that he is still leading this race at this point, that is by far the save of the weekend so far.
Maybe even the season at this point. I haven't seen anything better yet in the Truck Series anyway. But for Ludovic Charette, they continue to lead this race, although that 99 is making a huge run at it, and he ducks down to the inside. Oh man, this has been a thrill ride. This might even be better than yesterday's race at the rate they're going, as the 99 takes the lead of the race.
Yeah, and the thing is, the 31 has led a good chunk of this race, but he hasn't necessarily yarded. That's the one thing I've noticed about this weekend.
No one has.
We really have not seen anybody pull away from the field as far as checkout lead. So whatever package they brought, it's made for some great racing here.
Yeah, and we saw this last year and the year before that. So whatever they've got here at Nashville, it works. Do not change anything for next year, because we're definitely coming back for 2026, and that's going to be a lot of fun as well. But here comes Charette down to the inside of the 99 to take the lead back. These two are dicing it out for the lead, and honestly, no one else is really catching up, although I think that 10 could be making a run at it if he's not going to hang on to that position from the 91.
Again, we talked about our usual players. We had our usual players, obviously, but from yesterday, you had the 10. Oh, we got guys coming to pit road.
Yeah, green flag
pit road, the 55.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, we are going to have green flag pit stops today, and here's the first round of pit stops. So a couple guys making their way on the pit road. Steven Myers, the pole sitter, is one of them. I saw Samantha Jade back there is one of them, a couple others. But this is going to open the door, and I think a lot of people, you see a lot of people cut down.
The leaders are chopping down now. And as I was kind of getting ready to say before I noticed them hitting pit road was, we got our players that were players yesterday, but seeing these players that weren't players yesterday now in the mix, it's like, oh, we got all these people in the mix now. It's kind of been a nice change of pace from where we are normally week in, week out.
So it looks as though we had 7 trucks stay on the racetrack another lap. Justin Whitmer, Austin Scott, David Wells, William Ayers, Maverick McAlton, Zach Fry, and John McFadden. They're going to hang it out another lap, although they're all going to come in this time. I'm curious to see if these guys get a good long run pace at the end of this run when we get our second round of pit stops at about 10 to go.
We'll see. It looks like Jade will be the first of the one group that came off pit road to leave pit road, so we'll see now in relation, and we're looking at Jade in comparison to those that just pitted, which she should easily be able to get the advantage back on these guys, but it'll be interesting to see how the trucks of Whitmore and the other trucks that pitted with them, see where they're at the end of the run. As you said, we'll see where they're at.
Look at this hornet's nest coming out of the pit. That's a lot of them in a group. And Jade, I think, is going to make her way past most of them. Charette's going to be the leader ahead of the 99. The 10's going to be up there, but Jade is going to try and challenge Rhodes Gray for that position.
Basically, it looks like the top 4 is pretty much going to be what it was prior to the cycle starting. So we'll see. We'll see which strategy works out here. Was it the early strategy, or is it the late strategy that ends up paying off as we get closer to that final pit stop and the end of this race?
Yeah, and I think actually Overcut might have been a good call, because Whitmer has not lost that much time. He is going to be in about 4th place when the cycle's out, battling for 3rd with Rhodes Gray and Samantha Jade. So I think that might have been a good call for them. I'm curious to see how it works in the long run, but for right now, Charette will be the leader again. Yeah, there's the timing and scoring updating itself. 99 in 2nd, Rhodes Gray, Whitmer, Jade, that's your top 5. Then you got to go quite a ways back, actually, to find David Wells in 6th, then the 11, Walsh, Messi, and Stoyan completing the top 10.
And how about this 10 truck?
Started 36.
Finished runner-up in the close finish with Kurtis. Basically, it was about a truck length, about a half a truck length, maybe at the minimum. And once again, coming into today, they had to start it deeper in the field, and yet things have worked around. Here they are running 3rd. This has got to be a great weekend, at least feeling-wise, for how about Crossroads in general? The 31 leading, the 10 having the finish from yesterday, both running here in the top 5.
And the 11 and 8th as well.
And the 11 having a good day today as well. So
yeah, and they needed this.
I'm sure James Ellison is loving this loving this about right now.
Yeah, considering the nightmare of weekend they had at Atlanta. Both Rhodes Gray and William Ayers were eliminated in crashes last week, and Ludovic Charette had their own set of problems to knock them out of contention. So what a turnaround for Crossroads, and as well as for Express Motorsports. They're having a little more of a pedestrian run in today's race compared to yesterday, when you compare all of their trucks. But this 99's got to be my drive of the weekend so far.
Yeah, I think at this point I have to agree with you, because the run they had yesterday, running Dyson for the lead today, being a possible contender again. We still have it's a little over half this race to go, so it'd be interesting to see if this 99 could be a factor for the win today. It'd be awesome to see somebody. We saw the veteran win yesterday. It'd be nice to see somebody a little newer win today.
Yeah, and
kind of balance it out.
And keep in mind, if he's doing this well on the ovals, which he doesn't like, imagine how well he's going to do on the road courses when we get to those. He's going to love that.
Absolutely, and again, this coming from my experience as a driver, when you ran well on a discipline you were weak on, it almost gave you that extra boost. That boost of, hey, we actually, if we could run this good on the tracks we don't like, man, I can't wait till we get to the tracks that we like. So
yeah, the first of those is going to be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in mid-July. So going to be a bit before we see that, but I'm sure he's going to love that when we get there, because we're going to have that. We're going to have Watkins Glen in mid-August. Those are going to be his chances to shine, I'm sure. And he's already shining today, so I'm sure he's going to get plenty of chances. And rightfully so. That team has done wonders this weekend. As we're going to get a 3-wide fight here for 6th place, as Santi Messi's going to try and get 2 for 1 down in the turn 3.
Yeah, and it looks like he is going to be able to succeed at that and move in and take over that 6th position firmly. As you have more players into that mix. You see A.F. Walsh, the 02, the 93 of Jeremy Frey, and the 08, which I talked about the 08 late. We talked about him late in the race yesterday, how he suddenly appeared for a 3rd place finish yesterday after being almost a lap down. So
it was a lap down, that race.
I'd keep an eye on that 08 truck before the end of this race. He could surprise us again and jump up there again.
So right now, we have the top 5 pretty much separated from the rest of the field. Gray, we've got Charette up there, the 99, the 25, and Whitmer in the 91. You got to go another 2.5 back to find the rest of these guys, the 3, the 11, and those guys. Although, I would not be surprised if these guys got their act together and started running in formation. I would expect these guys to have a really good chance of catching these guys, especially when you see Jaden Charette battling for 3rd.
Well, the one thing I'm going to watch here, and again, we briefly mentioned at the end of the pit stop, the 91 truck and how late they pit. He's still hanging on the back of this top 5 here. He's not letting them drive away. I've watched the interval kind of fluctuate a little bit, but it has been coming down a little bit.
Yeah, when I'm more surprised about. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm more surprised about the 25 because she pit first of this group, and her tires are a little older, and yet she's still making passes. Just made a pass on the 31, for example. So that's what I'm more surprised about, is that 25 able to keep pace.
So what we're saying here is if you got a chance in the top 5, it may not necessarily depend on your tires at this point. It may just be, if you're in the top 5, you got a chance at it.
It all depends on your pit time. How long you're in the pits for. That can really be the factor.
And we'll have to see when we get that second round of stops, who is going to be the one. And we'll see which gamble pays off. As Jade kind of ducked it inside the 99 real deep there, and there may have almost. I don't think there was any contact between her and the 99.
It was really close. But going back to the pit stops for a moment, I'm curious because the tires, they do fall off, but they don't seem to be the be-all and end-all of this race. What I'm curious of, we're going to get that last set of pit stops with about 10 to go. Is anyone going to try and roll the dice, maybe take 2 tires? That's
what I'm thinking is, what do you got to lose? Say if you're somebody like Jade or somebody like the 08, ones that we haven't necessarily seen. We've seen it at the front in a couple of races, but that are not normally players, so to say. Why not try the gamble? Why not do? If you do what the leaders do, you're going to follow the leaders to the checker. But why not try something different? Why not try a 2-tire gamble?
Yeah.
Why not try to be the first to pit road too, like Jade did earlier?
Yeah, and especially if you had a great truck yesterday, but aren't doing as hot today. Like, for example, DJ Kurtis or John McFadden. We haven't seen them at the top 10 today. If they were to take a 2-tire call late in this race, that could really get them into contention.
We've seen it happen in these races before, where all it takes is one thing to go your way. You do something different, but if it goes your way, nobody's going to talk about whether it was a bad decision. If it works out, it's a good decision.
As speaking of good decisions, here comes the 99 making a great decision to pass the 10 of Rhodes Gray. This has been a fantastic race for this 99, a real coming of age story for him in his one-up career. Because, like we said, ovals not great for him, but he's actually doing a pretty solid job this season overall. Before this weekend started, he was already 12th in the points. So, if he keeps having runs like this, he could jump into the top 10, maybe even the top 5.
The other thing is, too, teams are taking note of these runs too. They're watching these guys in the Truck Series. This is yes, it's kind of the developmental series. This is a series we're going to see kind of what are the up and comers for the Superstar Series. Granted, we also have the modified series as well, but it's going to be interesting to watch because there's going to be teams that are going to be looking at these guys. They're looking at the 99 team. They're looking at the 08 team. They're looking at these guys that are making their faces known. And these are the guys that get the offers to, hell, all it takes is a good run in a car. You could be looking at a good offer. I mean, look at yours truly.
And go back as well to the Nitro race last week in Atlanta. Mike White made big payday on that race. He won in his series debut. This is the opportunity these guys are looking for. If you can get the right car under you, you can have a really good day. And we're seeing the 99 have a really good day. We're seeing the 08 having a good day. We're seeing all these guys having great days, but it really doesn't surprise me at all the way they've built themselves up.
Yeah, as we close in here, 25 laps to go. Whitmore now the leader over the 10 truck. Jade runs there in third, the 99 in fourth, and these four, it's pretty much the four at the moment. The 31 is close enough to kind of get a draft sniff off these guys, but he's not quite close enough to be
but
the lead. But
speaking of guys making their way to the front, look who's in 6th place. It's becoming less of a surprise at this point, let's say, to see that 66 make its way to the front. But he came out of the pits in about 15th place, knocking on the door to top 5.
Again, that's the reason why that team is running so well. They made the adjustments they needed to make, and here they are in the top 6 now, trying to close in on the leaders. That's you got a veteran in the 66 of the Truck Series. Granted, he finally got that win last week, and the crew on that truck able to adjust it, get it to where he needs it to be for this last run here. So, I'm not surprised that he's the factor.
No, and he's more than just a factor. He's going to go for a top 5 spot. He ducks underneath the 99. He's caught this group. He's brought the 11 with him. Now this group's become 7. It's become 8 trucks now. We got 8 of them under a blanket for the lead. Well, the 10's starting to pull away a little bit, but everyone else in a very tight pack here.
Again, it's kind of like what I said about what we saw yesterday, where granted we're seeing a little more of the leader able to maintain a gap, but about the pack accordion back together, and here we go again.
Also, is it just me, or did the 66 just pick off 3 trucks in the span of 1 lap there? That is mighty.
Hey, you want your truck good at the end of a run. You want to be picking up places at the end of a run instead of losing them. That's what wins your races. That's what wins your championships, and that's what the 66 team is doing at the moment. And granted, we still got the pit stop to come though, so they're gonna have to again nail it again on that stop. But
and
I kind of like where they're sitting right now.
And you were talking earlier about opportunities. Robbers Racing, this is the team that Villalobos drives for. They might be lining up this guy for a run at the Nitro Series in 2026. They may have an opening there in their Nitro program next year. I think this guy would be a fantastic fit for that Nitro car, because flashback to last year at Michigan, he made a one-off appearance in their Nitro car there. He led laps and finished in the top 5. I think that this guy's on a rocket of upward trajectory, and if he does really well this season, I would expect that Nitro seat to be his.
And that's the thing. I honestly think with the way he's run, he doesn't necessarily need the title in the series. I think that's him personally. I think he wants to go out there. He feels like he was a good team last year. They had something to take to Kurtis. Unfortunately, Kurtis bested him for the title. I think he personally wants to go try to get that title. He wants that title before he moves on, if that opportunity arises.
I would expect it to.
And Absolutely, I think that's his motivation this year. Is he wants that title or bust, pretty much. I think for him, even though I think the team is really wants to move him up next year. We'll see.
Yeah, and yeah, Villalobos is just. As you actually hold that thought, we see Clayton Sessom. I think he had a flat tire, and that's brought him to pit road a little early. He only took 2 tires, so that's going to offset him a little bit, but we'll see how he does the rest of the day. But going back to what I was saying about Villalobos, as Rhodes Gray is going to try and take the lead back from him here. Villalobos, I think this reminds me so much of Angel Gutierrez last year. A really strong contender, won a few races, pretty sure he won a couple races last year, and he got moved up to the Robbers Racing Nitro program this year. He's doing a pretty good job up there. He won the pole at Phoenix, did some solid work there. He's right in contention. I think if Villalobos goes to join him up there, they could be a real powerhouse. Them and Riley Hooper in the 69 car up there.
I was gonna say Gutierrez and Villalobos together on the same team. I mean, there's some teams that would dream of having those 2 drivers in their lineup.
Well, that's what we had last year in the Truck Series, was those 2 together. Gutierrez moved on to the Nitro Series, and I would expect Villalobos to join him there in 2026, the way that 66 team has been running this year.
Right now, he's got a challenger. This 10 truck to finish runner-up yesterday, he wants to do 1 spot better today, and he is the one that is currently now at the front with basically 26 to go.
15 to go, as a matter of fact. So
16 to go. Sorry, 16 coming to 15.
Yeah, and they do have a little challenge because there is a lap truck up ahead. We didn't see this yesterday because we had so many yellow flags. We've actually run this whole race caution-free so far. But not Steven Meyer, his teammate Shane Allen in the 46, he is the truck up ahead to be lapped. But I would expect him to cooperate nicely. He's done this before. But look at Clayton Sessom. Fresh tires, and he is bulldozing his way through the field. I think that's going to get some people's attention, and he might be able to make a challenge for maybe a top 15 at this rate. As Villalobos trying to fend off Rhodes Gray, and he's bringing Santi Messi with him.
Santi Messi, but how about that other truck there in 4th place? I mean, we kind of mentioned his teammates today. Not really so much mentioned to him. We even mentioned him in glancing. But that 11 truck sitting there in the 4th position.
Yeah.
They're just quietly sitting there. And again, we talked about opportunities and taking them when they come your way. And here this 11 is just having a nice solid steady day, running top 5.
With his teammate.
You're putting yourself in a position.
Yeah. And the 31 has started to fade a little bit. They were running really strongly today. They might be making an early pit stop to try and gain some position back. But yeah, here comes Villalobos to lap Shane Allen, and Allen's done this before. He knows how to handle this, so I hope he's gonna stay out of the way pretty nicely. Actually, I think he might wait to the next lap or at least the next corner to try and get by, because Villalobos is right there. Yeah, Allen's gonna stay high.
Yeah, he's gonna stay high, but the 66 pass on the bottom, so towards lap traffic.
Yeah, it's the best kind of lap traffic, honestly. But that's a tough break, though, for Shane Allen and that team. They qualified 1st and 3rd, but their equipment just wasn't with them today. It's a shame, but they showed what they're capable of, and I'm sure they'll be back stronger than ever at Hillside as green flag pit stops are starting to unfold once again.
Yeah, we saw the first of the top 10 runners. Jeremy Frey was the first to actually hit pit road.
Yeah, and he brought Mitchell Carter with him. Those were the
it looks like
2.
Messi's coming this time in the 3.
Yeah, and he's bringing Jade along. Who else is pitting? Saylor, Anzac, all of the Team Duke trucks actually pitting together. Kurtis is coming in. We got Fogelman on his way. Gibson, Williams, Stephen Myers, and a few others. They're all coming down now, but I think you want to be one of the first ones in just to cover off the threat from those around you.
Well, I'll be interested to see. Again, we've seen Whitmer's team pit late, and yet they were able to run back basically with the top 5. So
yeah, here comes Villalobos.
Which one actually pays dividends here?
Yeah, Villalobos comes in, Gray comes in, and a few others. But Ayers and Whitmer, they stay out on a lap. Ayers gets a bonus point for leading a lap. And I think they're going to be coming in this next time by, coming to 9 laps to go. It all depends on who blends out in what position and where on the track they blend. As it looks as though,
yeah, we're gonna see. There's Messi.
Yeah, Austin Scott was the
off.
other truck to stay out in the 41. He's going to pit with them.
It's Messi versus Frey, so we know that Messi, at least of those two groups, is now the leader of that group. So we'll have to see Messi versus the 11 and
the 66 too.
Those coming to pit road.
Yeah, look, here comes the onrush out of the pits this time. Villalobos is there, Rhodes Gray. Those guys are going to be racing with the 3 and the 25, yeah. So Villalobos is going to come out easily ahead. But will Rhodes Gray do the same? That's the question. Looking at the background, yes, Messi actually cleared the 10.
Yeah, we'll see, though, because, again, we're going to have to compare these to the group that pitted last, but I believe the 66 probably will be your leader here with the closing laps, and this may be the biggest lead we've seen today as far as, or between the weekend, once we cycle this around. So it'll be interesting to see if the 3, or maybe not, look at the 11.
Yeah, the 11 overcut, and he's going to come out right behind the 66. Maybe about half a second behind, but that's still better than what the 3 and the 10 were able to do. So we're coming up now on about 8 laps to go. Could the 11 be in position to give Crossroads Racing its first win of the season? It's going to be really tight.
Yeah, I was going to say, the other thing I'm going to have to keep in mind here, granted we're only running maybe 8 laps, but they do have a couple of fresher tires than the leader.
Yeah, but
will that play dividend?
They also have warm tires. They got the outlap taken care of. Their tires are up to temperature. That can be a factor as well. As Gray now ducks to the inside of Messi for 3rd. That 10 truck could be on a charge lane.
Well, the 10 truck, as we said, finished 2nd yesterday. Wants to do one spot better today.
Yeah, that'd be his first career win.
On track for back-to-back second-place finishes the way it's shaping up.
Yeah, but both these guys are looking for their first career wins. I'm talking about Ayers and Gray. And that would be for that, and actually Charette too. All 3 of Crossroads Racing's drivers are looking for their first career wins. And I think it's going to be Gray and Ayers are going to give it a really good shot. But Gray just sailed past Ayers like he was standing still.
Check the gap of the line there with 6 to go as Gray takes the spot from Ayers.
7 tenths.
About 7 tenths of a second.
And keep in mind, there's another lap track up there, and Chris Martens as well.
And Paul went high there in 1 and 2 a little bit. I noticed him high in the groove, so we'll see. Can the 10 pounce and do what he failed to do yesterday, which was to hold off? He failed to hold off the 22 yesterday. Now he's the one that's going to be trying to charge here and see if he can get the leader by the end of the race.
And he wants his teammate to help him get there. But I think he's going to fall short because Santi Messi is getting inside of Ayers for that position. 5 laps to go at the line. Villalobos taking that higher exit out of the corner, trying to see if Chris Martens be an issue to put the 66 a lap, to put the 18 a lap down. Will that impact the 66 at all? Because the gap has just gone down by about a 10th.
Yeah, I was just going to say the previous lap, but it went down to, it's now just over half a second. I'll check it this time.
Ooh.
And actually the 66 grew it. He grew it by about a 10th, so...
Yeah, 4 to go. Will the 18 be a factor in holding up the 10 at all?
I would expect not, as, yeah, it looks like the 10 is going to get to the inside of the 18 here.
I don't think they're going to catch anyone
so.
else either. So this is going to be a straight fight now between the 10 and the 66, coming the 3 laps to go.
We'll see. Now, he lost ground on the previous lap. We'll see if he gained any of it back this time.
Looks like he has. Yeah, he gained.
Yeah, he did.
He made up the gap he lost on the previous lap, so it's still half a second. He's got to make up a lot of time in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, he's pretty much going to have to go here in 2 laps, which basically half a second. What? They came out of turn 2 that time. It looked like he closed up a bunch out of turn 2 that time.
But he really gained a bunch.
Oh yeah, he really gained a bunch there into 3.
Oh man, this is going to be a real dogfight with 2 laps to go. Gray all over the back bumper of Villalobos for the lead. The gap with 2 to go down to just under 2 tenths of a second.
Well, we saw it yesterday. We saw it was Kurtis trying to catch Gray late yesterday. Can Gray repay the favor, although this time to the 66 instead of the 22?
Now Gray is the hunter rather than the hunted. We're coming to the white flag this time. He puts a little bumper to the back of the 66, moves him up the racetrack. Rhodes Gray coming through to the lead, and we're coming to the white flag. Gray to the top spot.
We also got it looks like the 3 has closed the gap to these two, too. He may still be a factor. I don't know if he's got time to get there, but we'll see. Can Rhodes Gray go one spot better than yesterday? He's about half a lap away from doing so.
How about Rhodes Gray? Finished second yesterday. That must have stung. Or near last lap pass. He's going to turn the trick on Paul Villalobos with his own almost last lap pass. And for the first time in his one-up career, it will be Rhodes Gray across the line first, a winner at Nashville.
He finished runner-up by about half a truck yesterday. Today, it's about, I'd say, a truck and a half over the 66 as they came to the checkered. So.
Oh man. That is awesome for Rhodes Gray. He persevered. He was struggling so much last year, bouncing across the various series. He's found a home at Crossroads in the trucks, and he has rewarded them handsomely with their first win of the season. Villalobos comes up just one spot short in second. Santi Messi completes the podium. Ayers, though, double Crossroads top 5, and Jade completes the top 5 as a result. Whitmer 6th, Frey 7th, Audrey Anzac 8th, Walsh 9th, and Blaine Saylor completes the top 10. But, man, this has got to be a long time coming for Rhodes Gray. Like I said, he struggled so much last year, DNQing a few races in all 3 series, but boy, is his patience paid off.
I mean, look at the shape of we had this season. We had, Derek Hamill had struggled last year, one Daytona in the opener. We talked about the 66 and how they were so close to getting a win. They was won this year, and now the 10. A guy that struggled last year, and this weekend he almost swept the weekend. He was close to winning the first race. He wins the second one.
Yep.
So
and he's got a lot of momentum going to Hillside. So, from Ryan Griffin and from myself as well, thanks for joining us for this unforgettable doubleheader at Nashville. Probably our best one yet, I'd have to say. We'll see you again next week at Hillside, the high-banked mile oval out there. That is going to be awesome to watch as well. But until we get there, so long from Nashville. Congrats to Rhodes Gray. He pulled off a miracle last lap pass to score the victory here at Nashville for himself and his team.